in Marathon in the Florida Keys. This is our last stop in the Keys. We are going to go in and see some turtle hospitaling and rehabbing. It's a very close and near and dear to my heart. I love the sea turtles, and this was going to be a bucket list item for us on this trip. So we finally were able to get here. I'm very excited. So come and join us as we go to the Sea Turtle Center and Turtle Hospital in Marathon. Let's go.
So we are all checked in for our Turtle Hospital tour. We got some information here about the sea turtles, why they dig at the beach. There is a waiver that needs to be filled out before you go back there. We did ours ahead of time online. Oh, this is cool. This is what you're looking at inside the turtle, underneath the shell. What the skeletal structure looks like. Gonna look inside a loggerhead turtle. I don't think I've ever seen an anatomic cutaway of a turtle's insides before. Very interesting. Do turtles have fingernails? Why, yes, they do. There's a turtle skull. And they're natural predators. Raccoons for the eggs and hatchlings. Fish for post-hatchlings, and killer whales. So they got the different skulls for the different types of turtles. There's green turtle. This is a loggerhead turtle skull. And these are some of the amazing patients. So these are all going to be rescue and rehab. Rehab, release if possible. Sometimes they cannot be released back into the wild, but they do if they possibly can. It's the part they love the most. So every turtle we'll see in here has been rescued. Here we are on our way. First stop is going to be Surgery Center. With some turtle ambulances here.
It's also used for a pre-operative and post-operative staging area. And across the way is our operating room, and if we had a current surgery going on in there, you'd be able to witness a portion of it. Well, we got on the table this afternoon, and poor old Stuffy, I'm afraid his condition's chronic. About all we can do for him is an occasional vacuuming, maybe an upholstery shampoo.
Yeah, we've gone past the surgical and emergency room. Now we're going to visit the hurricane tank and see some more turtles. We got Rebel and Bender here. Bender's missing a flipper. He's got some weights to help him maintain the balance. And we got another one here visiting.
Where she spent most of her time while she was here at the hospital. These are called hurricane tanks, and not because they were designed that way, but because they survived the last Category 4 storm that completely devastated Marathon back in 2017.
When this was a hotel or motel, that was the swimming pool. And when it got converted into an aquatic area, they changed the pool to salt water and used it as a tank for the turtles and fish. You can see elements of it. This is part of the original motel, which is where the Turtle Hospital is based. Actually built up around the old motel buildings, which they still use.
Original honeymoon suite of the Hidden Harbor Motel, and Yeah, back in the day it was equipped with a heart-shaped spinning vibrating bed and all the accoutrements you would find in on him between the 1950s, whatever that was. Well, we've updated it. It's our doctor's cottage now, and when they come down from their private practices from either St. Augustine or Atlanta, that's where they stay.
Storm has passed, but it's still really breezy right now.
We'll lower the water for turtles that are extremely ill or post-surgery, and they will also lower the water level for turtles that are new to the hospital. And we have a new patient. This is Rocky, a green sea turtle.
Yeah, Rocky.
Has gastrointestinal issues, and you can see that her shell is kind of bulged up a little bit. It's also her internal problems are simulating the bubble butt syndrome with her. So hopefully they'll get her gastrointestinal issues straightened out, and possibly she has an impaction. She may have eaten some plastic.
Look at all the turtles.
Our super survivor, she only hits 2 3/4 flippers, which is overflying. See, but that's our one and only loggerhead in this tank.
You can adopt some of the sea turtles here.
With other turtles. Her name's Medea. There she is. Medea suffers from bubble butt syndrome, and that's why she's here. No, we don't have any leatherbacks here at the hospital this time, and actually it's kind of a good thing because leatherbacks do not do well in captivity. They're like the great white shark. Cheese. Yeah, we got mac and cheese.
It's got some little babies here.
Baby loggerhead. And then the next thing.
Here's some of the individual tanks we've looked at. There's a big tank where we got to do a little bit of the feeding. And there's some of the tanks for the hatchlings and the very young turtles. Well, the sun's come back out by the end of our tour. All right. So we finished the tour at the Turtle Hospital.
Yeah.
Education tour, education program, where you got to visit with some of the residents that are being rehabilitated, some of the permanent residents, and we got to hear a little bit about the animals, how they rehab, what they do to help them rehab, what their issues are. What'd you think of the tour?
That was really informative. It was a little sad. All the little turtles and the stuff that's happened to them, and but it was very uplifting, the number of releases that they had last year. They have taken in 5 new turtles this year already, so hopefully they'll be able to be released soon. So yeah.
It was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. Learned some things. And it was great to see the turtles getting rehabilitated and the care that they're getting, and very cool to see that they do release parties, and you can check on the Turtle Hospital website. I think it's turtlehospital.org. The Marathon, they're based in Marathon here, and they do release parties and get people all excited and all showing up. They get big crowds for some of their releases, and they release them at beaches away from motor boats and things like that, motor sports, or for certain turtles that need to be released further out, they take them out to sea and release them.
And that's mostly the hatchlings that should have been out there in the first place.
So yeah, it was a great tour. Highly recommended. If you come here, make a reservation. You don't have to pay anything to make a reservation. Make a reservation ahead of time. They have like tours going like every 30 minutes, and they're about 70 to 90 minutes total. And they go rain or shine. It was sprinkling when we started ours, but they went ahead, and now it's beautiful and sunny. So very highly recommended. Now we got to keep going north. We're heading back to Miami because we got some stuff to do there, and we got a cruise coming up. So we're gonna be off. That this is cool here at the Turtle Hospital. On to the next adventure.
Let's go.
All right, so we are heading down to the Bahia Honda Bridge, the southern portion, former southern entry to the Bahia Honda Bridge that closed in 1972. And this was part, as I've mentioned before, this is part of the Overseas Railroad that was built by Henry Flagler in the early 1900s as part of his railroad to Key West. This road, the Bahia Honda Bridge, shut down in 1972. So after they converted this bridge in the late 30s to a road bridge, and they basically put a big road deck on top of the trestle bridge. And this bridge is a little bit different from some of the other bridges to the Keys built by the railway. So because this bridge crosses the deepest channel that it had to cross in the Keys, this was built as a trestle bridge. And they basically, instead of trying to build the roadway in between the trestles, the road deck was placed on top of the trestle. So the road deck sat on top of the trestle, so it gave a very unique look to it. And it finally closed in 72 and was replaced by the more modern bridge next to it. So you can see here's what's left now. Over the years, it decays, things rust and crumble. And so of course they lop off chunks of it so that people aren't getting onto the bridge. But this is the old bridge, and you can see the original trestle bridge that was where the railroad tracks were. And there's a little hump right there in the middle, and they just slapped the road deck right on top. And you can see what's left of the road deck here is just kind of crumbled and deteriorated over the last 50 years since this bridge was used. The remains of some access steps up to the bridge abutment. At the edge of the bridge abutment, missing section of bridge, and there is 50-year-old road deck up there. So this is the southern side, and we're going to head to the other side now and check it out from the north end. But pretty amazing. It's still here, and it's fascinating to sort of see the decay and crumble that happens over the years. This one I don't think I ever got to go over, but it would have been like 7 Mile Bridge. It would have been a little scary. Narrow bridge. Even back in the 70s, it would have been 30 plus years old with a road deck just sitting on top of this railroad trestle. And the railroad itself, of course, dates back to 1912 when the Overseas Railroad was constructed all the way to Key West. So this was the original railroad that went all the way to Key West. A little bit of history. And a little bit of a scramble going over these rocks and climbing up to be able to get up there, but a lot of people do it just to get another view of the bridge. As we're on the north side of the Bahia Honda Bridge at the state park. Warning flags, high hazard for riptides. It's very choppy. Storms are brewing. This is going to be a little windy. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear much, and I may delete the audio, but this is, they've restored a walkway so that you can walk up the initial portion of the old bridge, and then the rest of course has been lopped off so that nobody accesses the main portion of it. Here's a photo of what it was like when the bridge ran right over the top of the railroad trestle, and this is where I was on the south end. Climbed up here. They had some steps, of course, down here, and this section had been lopped off, and the new bridge kind of follows this trail over here. Let's walk up the trail. And this trail up to the Bahia Honda Bridge follows what was the old highway leading up to the bridge. And this kind of gives an overview of the two bridges, the state park, and it's pronounced Bahia Honda in Spanish. I spent a lifetime as a kid, way back when. We always called it Bahia Honda. Who says I can't learn some new tricks after all these years? Bahia Honda. And as we approach the bridge, the restored bridge path, can't help but enjoy the marvelous, fantastic views here in the Keys. And there is a storm approaching. It's supposed to rain a little bit intermittently today. Yeah, it certainly looks like it. All right, now we are approaching the restored portion of the bridge. So this is on top, still on top of the old bridge, but obviously this portion has been restored for people to walk on. And it was closed in '72. In 1979, it was listed on the National Historic Registry. So this is the part that has been now restored and you can walk up to, and it is blocked off here. And so we'll go take a look from here across in just a moment. This coaster gonna stay behind back there. Not a fan of bridges, especially ones where part of it has been lopped off. Okay, greeted at the end of here by the bridge spanning the 5,055 foot Bahia Honda channel as part of the East Coast Railway. Bridge stopped in '72. And there is, they've restored this bit even past where they allow you to go up to. So while I've been traversing around on a bridge, Annette has been spotting an iguana. It's kind of chilling here, waiting for the storm to roll in. Definitely see the wind is whipping up and we got a storm inbound. Hopefully I got a time lapse that's shooting a little bit along the way, so you'll see a little bit of that, of the storm rolling past.